Welcome to Healings and Meditations with Frank Jordan and the Earth Mind Think Tank Group. We welcome all listeners and chatters. Any questions can be called in to 1-775-657-5973. 1-775-657-5973. If you're in the chat room on Wolf Spirit Radio, which is wolfspiritradio.com/wolfchat, please post questions in uppercase letters, in capital letters. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is Frank Jordan with the Earth Mind Think Tank Group on Wolf Spirit Radio. And we'd like to invite anyone who manages to catch these calls to participate with us Wednesday and Saturday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we have some wonderful discussions as well as a lot of good intuitive information that comes through Stephen and others. And so as our group grows and we expand our consciousness, we're getting more and more sources of information all the time. So it's an interesting show, and we're open to the general participation. You're welcome to send questions in the information part of the Sunday evening show, the first hour, and also request healing in the second hour, because we're doing some phenomenal long-distance healing. We're getting feedback all the time of people who have effectively responded to our power of intent in our group mind consciousness. Thirdly, the more important aspect of that is working with this group mind consciousness. We're increasing our own personal ability all the time to use our psychic center. And through that psychic center, of course, we have access to the subconscious mind and the 0 point, and to become co-creators with the God force. And the more we exercise, it's just like exercising a muscle. The more you use it, the better tuned it becomes. And I'm particularly delighted with our Earth Mind Think Tank group. Many of these folks have been with us now for several years, and they're really getting sharp. And proportionally to that, their own expansion of consciousness occurs, and we all rise higher in the vibrational frequencies, and that's the overall intent of what we're doing anyway, is to get as many of us as possible, as soon as possible, up into the higher levels of frequency ranges of the third dimension, so we can easily shift into the fourth dimension. And some of us are already doing that, and operating out of the fourth dimension to where we're even more powerfully directed and inclined as to what to do to create this new world reality that we're participating in. And I say new world reality rather than new world age or era or whatever, because that new age connotation was one that was coined to indicate that the Illuminati would be holding us in that third dimensional level, and our intent and our abilities are being directed to lifting everyone out of that third dimensional reality and out of the power of the Illuminati and the suppression financial groups of the world, and that general group mind consciousness that inhibits rather than inspiring human growth and evolution of consciousness. But with that said, we're all here together now and ready to do some earth mind work. And so I'll ask the group, does anyone have any suggestions pertaining to earth mind, the environment or weather or anything of that nature?
There was a large earthquake in Alaska, so some extra focus there would be good.
There was a big one in New Zealand, too.
Okay, we'll take a look at those. I'm looking at Alaska right now, but it's not popping out, so let's see.
Yeah, it was a couple.
Yeah, all right. Alaska is an ongoing situation that the Pacific Plate is deeply thrusting under the mid-south central portion. That's what's literally separating the landmass there, so that the Alaskan inlet can be in form. And so it's kind of like the Southern California and California coast. It's an ongoing thing. And I did notice this morning there's the movement along the Southern California coast is pretty uniform, except there's one gap north of Los Angeles, probably halfway up to San Francisco, and that indicates a hang up there. All the rest of the plates are smoothly and passing or creating harmonic passage, but that one's hung up, so we'll work on that this morning. See if we can get that loosened up so it doesn't let go with a large earthquake. Now, are there any requests for anything in weather-wise or environmentally this morning? If not, we'll just see what our intuitive flows bring as we move along here. So we'll drop into our deep meditation state now. This is where we access through the soul center, the psychic center, and then on into the expanded consciousness of the subconscious mind, where we can work in 0 point and through the oversoul and undersoul, not only of ourselves, because it's through resonance with our own desire and will and intent within, that is in direct resonance with earth mind and the chakra system of earth. So what we individually and collectively focus our energy and our intent on, the earth mind responds to it. We've seen some pretty profound responses in the past, and so we'll see where we go today. So take your awareness up into your forehead. Get totally comfortable. Step right back behind the frontal lobes now, in to the soul center. And incidentally, the soul center operates with the frontal lobes of the brain and the brain in general to give our indwelling soul that cognitive, interactive awareness that we consider to be us. It's our identity of I am participating in the present now of reality. And so even though the soul is not limited to this particular moment of now, it can go forward in time or back in past. The general focus is in this moment of now, in the standing waves, which is the 0 point where things are being created. So as we're actively experiencing this moment of now is constantly changing with intent, with group mind participation, and with instinctive consciousness coming from earth mind. So every moment is a moment of change, and every moment is a moment of choice as far as we're concerned, because we are creating that next reality, those futurizing moments which are just seconds away out in front of us and extend on out many years into our future. And this point of awareness we have, this focus point in this now, and our realization of our past and how we might want to experience our future, that happens all in this moment of now. And so this is where we create our future reality in group mind consciousness as well as in our individual reality. So this is the power you have of being a self-creator as well as a co-creator. And when I said that we're responsible for our lives, that is very true. And we're responsible also in our co-communication with those around us, of how we create our experience. And it's all about the experience. This is the earth mind, totally subjectively being created and held in form by the oversoul mind, by the greater extended consciousness that holds the cosmos in form. And our participation in that means we are aspects, conscious raising aspects of that co-creation, rather than just the subjective, instinctive, intuitive forms of nature. So as we rise up through the levels of awareness and through the levels of consciousness in the third dimension of length, width, and height, we come into that fourth dimension of expanded consciousness, which is the fourth dimension of time and space. And in that is where we can move forward and backward in time to become even greater cooperative, co-creative in manifesting form, and looking always forward to that passage into the fifth dimension where we'll no longer need the physical form to be God force beings experiencing the universe, and that's our goal. So extend now outward from the soul center to everyone else in the Earth Mind group. Just it's like thinking of the group and looking out through the group mind consciousness out of the eyes as one eye, one set of eyes. And feel the general feeling of attention and pleasure at being here and anticipation of further growth of consciousness and understanding how things work. Now slide your awareness back deeper into the area of the pineal gland, and this is the psychic center. This is where we actively can work in group mind conscious of the human in general, and to impress with intent and thoughts positive influences that as the unconscious mind picks this up out in the group mind consciousness, people will realize they have another choice. They have the choice, a free choice, that is not influenced by the subconscious mind, which relies greatly on the earth mind instinctive principles to make their choices. So as we move in and evolve as human beings, our choices become more unilateral, more encompassing of everything and everyone, rather than just being in the individualized survival level of the low self. So let us just expand outward now into that psychic realm. Now take another step back, just step back deeper, and it feels like you just expand or step out into space when you do this. And that's quite true, because you are tuning into everything that's outside of yourself through the vibraports on the surface of the body, those little energetic portals in each frequency level of the body that attunes us into everything out there. Prior to this, we've been working to everything in here, but at the subconscious, evolved outer consciousness level, we're working with everything out there, and using our systems as a communication system with everything out there. So feel that expansion and the realization. Anywhere you put your point of attention, that is the indwelling soul, anywhere you put your point of attention, you tune your system, the chakra system, all those levels and frequencies, through the vibraportals on the surface of the body. You tune into that knowledge, that information that's waiting for you. So just be aware of your upper self now, and the oversoul, which is the male polarity over your head. And take the point of awareness down to the heart center. And 0 point. This is the balance point between the positive and the negative energetics that hold all your physical reality and form. In the 0 point, touch in to the indwelling spirit. This is that little aspect of the God force consciousness that That literally is our point and power of life. As long as we have this, we have life. When this departs, all we have is a bundle of elements. Now drop your awareness on down into the low self. This is your animal instinctive level of consciousness. And this is the one that has evolved over hundreds of thousands of years, that is in charge of the physical body. So this is where we have to go to do healing or to manage our physical reality. The upper chakras are primarily focused on the sensory, intellectual experience of our reality, while the lower chakras are focused through the low self, low indwelling soul, is focused on survival, maintenance of the body, and this moment of now. Now we drop from the root chakra down into earth mind. Just tune into earth and being aware of your extended consciousness in your chakra system. Clairvoyantly reach out, clairsentiently reach out and touch earth and the earth chakra system. And this is what monitors everything on the earth that pertains to life. This is the living consciousness of the subtle energy fields of earth that support all of the physical fields, not only of earth, but of all life forms on the surface of the earth. And this is where we have the power to interact with the environment, to help influence weather, to help protect and shield the earth from intrusive solar flares or asteroids and things of that nature. And to do that, we've created a shield in the ionosphere around the earth, a shield, a golden shield of energy. And just open up through your entire inner system now and feel the galactic flow of God Force consciousness pour through you and out through your hands and into that golden shield, holding it in form, asking that it be here to serve all of humanity and all of life, and to give it energy to do that. We go into the earthquake grid, where there's tremendous amounts of energy available that we can free up and add to the energy of our golden grid. Energy is the same source no matter what expression it's taking, and even though energy may shift, energy is never lost. The form or frequencies or realization of consciousness it takes is what determines the expression of energy that we call life. So we take our awareness to Southern California now, into the earthquake grid, the San Andreas Fault, just through your low self, through your root chakra, reach out, become one with that San Andreas Fault. This is a lateral shift where the plates move parallel to each other, and they hang up, and there's a hang up just north of Los Angeles now, about 50 miles. So we take our awareness into that, and using our energy, our intent, we use the energy that's being liberated all along the fault line now to lubricate that area north of Los Angeles, to implement the natural normal slippage, the release of energy, so there not be an earthquake there. How interesting, we're so so focused on that area that we feel that area in our own bodies. This is through resonance with the chakra system of earth mind. Visualizing, feeling the slippage occurring, releasing the energy, gathering the energy and taking it upward. The energy is released from the buildup of stress upward into the ionosphere, distributing it around the earth. And this is energy that we're storing. And the scientists have actually commented recently that there seems to be a new shield around the earth. They don't understand it, but it seems to deflect a lot of the solar flares that would have been destructive on earth, and that's exactly what our intent is doing. Now, we just let the flow continue until it's released, and move northward along the California coast to the Oregon border, to the San Juan de Fuca plate, which is a subduction zone under the Pacific Northwest. And we'll come back to that later. But now take your awareness to the eastern border of California along the Sierra Nevada mountains, which is a subduction zone. Lubricate that zone. Let those necessary movements occur, releasing energy naturally as we lift those energies into the ionosphere. You feel your hands get hot, your whole spine gets hot. And then when the heat subsides, we know we've cleared there. Now move to the Rocky Mountains, beginning south of Salt Lake. Again, subduction zone. This is an ancient zone here that created the Rocky Mountains. We just expand ourselves full length of the mountains. Paying particular attention to the Yellowstone caldera, feeling the deep pressure building up there. It's just like a boil waiting to burst. We take the energy away from it. Tremendous amount of energy. Now we're working directly with the elementals, the earth elementals, as we do this. And the elementals of the life forms around the Yellowstone and in the entire region are cooperating with us to will the devas of the cauldron itself to just sustain their energy and not release it dramatically. So it's a steady, gradual release. Now we move our awareness westward through central Idaho and into eastern Oregon. This is the route that the caldera has taken as it burned its way across Idaho to its present position. And there is some activity on the northern edges of that, subducting into the wilderness area of Idaho. We lift those energies upward. Now continue on northward in the Rockies to the Canadian line. And then back westward to the Pacific Northwest. And there's quite a scattering of small adjusting adjustments that are occurring through the subduction zone. We lift those energies up through the Cascade Mountains, through the ancient volcanoes, and on the ancient inland hot springs. The hot springs are the indications of fault lines, releasing energy upward. Take that into the ionosphere, clearing the potential of disastrous earthquakes or tsunami activity from the coastline. Now we move on up the Canadian coast to Alaska, and there's been some very severe earthquakes up there. Trying to locate a 7.9 on Little Sitkin Island. This is in the Aleutian chain. But before we get to that, let's clear the south central portion in the subduction zone beneath Anchorage and up through the Gulf of Alaska, all the way up to Mount McKinley. And now let's bring our awareness back down along the Aleutian chain to the Little Sitkin activity. That's almost all 3/4 of the way across through the chain to Russia. It's right in the bottom of the trench. Lift those energies upward. I'll continue on to Russia, drop down to Japan. Minor activity ongoing there. Down the Japan Trench to the Mariana Trench. And westward to Taiwan. And then down into the Philippine Trench, through the Philippines, on down into Indonesia. There's a general scattering of 5.150 activities through the Indonesian crescent that borders the Java Trench. We go into the Java Trench, lift the subduction zone, lubricating it so it does not hang up and create earth-shattering tsunamis that we've experienced there in the past. Now move your awareness to New Guinea. Scattered activity through the Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, over into Samoa Islands. Most of these are sub-oceanic, particularly along the Tonga Trench. And that's where the earthquake occurred, is north of New Zealand, in the Kamduk Trench. Some 5-0s there. Now move eastward across the Pacific to South America and the extended Peru-Chile trench that runs all the way from Peru south to the tip of South America along Chile. That's a subduction zone that's creating the Andes Mountains. So we lift those energies up through the ancient volcanoes, through the hot springs, to create the harmonious release. So it's just a gentle, ongoing release of energy. I come northward to Colombia, central Colombia, at Porrito, Guyatan, Colombia, 4.6. That's been reoccurring, so let's release that energy. Now on northward to Central America, and the usual Guatemalan activity in the volcanic subduction zone of the Guatemalan and Salvador Trench. Lift those energies upward. Then come across to Puerto Rico. Clusters of minor earthquakes occurring there all the time, and this is good because there's a lot of earth activity and shifting occurring there at this time. And the fact that there are these small clusters indicate that our work is effective there, and they're not hanging up, creating another massive earthquake like what occurred in the Port-au-Prince in the Haiti area. Now move eastward to the Mediterranean area. And there's scattered activity in the eastern Mediterranean. The area of Greece, further east in southern Turkey. Move eastward to Iran, Genava, Iran, a 5-0. And further eastward to Tajikistan, at Muminabad, and on the eastward end of the Himalayas, on Luring, China. Now we move eastward, back across the Pacific to our point of beginning in the United States, then to go to the central states where there's a lot of activity around Helena, Oklahoma. And again, this is due to fracking, and there's the intensification all the way across through that parallel response to the fracking activity all the way over into Tennessee. We particularly want to focus on the New Madrid Fault, Tennessee, there's some new activity in Lindenwold, New Jersey. This is unusual activity along the eastern coastline. Now bring our awareness back to the point of beginning and just pause for a moment to feel your resonance with the entire earth. That oneness, that attunement that says earth is an extension of yourself. You are an extension of earth, one living consciousness, the consciousness of the Creator. bring your awareness to the surface of the earth, into the group mind consciousness of all humans, and the ongoing chaos and uncertainty that's occurring in the financial realm. And we want to look into the future now, look into the future of being shown 20 years when we have moved mostly into the fourth dimension, and there is harmony and peace in a financial structure that supports all of humanity instead of just a few. Grasp that consciousness in your mind 20 years in the future in the fourth dimension, and pull that energy back, pull the resonance of that awareness, which is already imprinted in earth mind, pull it backward into this present time and space, and on back into the past, so that humanity has a pathway, a template of understanding of how to cooperate and create a universal financial system that's beneficial to everyone. And to do that, we encourage the controllers, the dominators, to release their power and we look at the central activities of the areas like Iraq, encourage the release of the domination power there, which is Maliki, and the implementation of a uniform government. And we bring the power and intent of the overall human consciousness, the majority of which desires a smooth financial structure that's beneficial to all. And Iraq seems to be the lynch point of launching the new revaluation process around the world and the new system, economical system. So we bring the pressure, the desire, the will, the intent of the world consciousness into those in Iraq, encouraging them to think in dominion, to express in dominion. Now bring a flow of unconditional love through the galactic flow, through the back of your head, out your heart, out your hands. Unconditional love, which holds the pattern, the frequencies, the knowledge, the information needed. And we see this happening in this moment of now. The request has come that we look at the nonsense that is going on, where brothers are fighting brothers in Iraq. They're all one people, and yet the tribal control of territorialism, which is a survival mechanism that was established hundreds of thousands of years ago, actually. That tribal survival mechanism needs to be released. The need to control territory and to create borders for self-protection. We see that releasing now, and the releasing of the hundreds of souls, the thousands of souls, the millions of souls that have given their lives over the years, many millennia, to this abortive cause. We implant a seed of consciousness in Baghdad itself to spread outward through the entire region, including Iran, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Syria. You see a seed of love, unconditional love pouring out, the recognition of oneness in all, that their religion recognized and acknowledged the oneness of all, and that the terrorists are influenced to make right choice to the benefit of everyone. And we see that seed spreading around the world, flowering into a new humanity, a new humankind that incorporates dominion in all societies, at all levels of consciousness, lifting all of consciousness into the fourth dimension, that dimension of time and space where we gain access to our intuitive, instinctive levels of imbalance of consciousness, to be co-created with the God force, where psychic abilities develop as new tools of consciousness, where we overcome the aging process, even as we control population to not overburden Earth with human life. And we feel that with unconditional love from the galactic center. And empower this, we use the direct light from the sun that enters our atmosphere, that interacts with our golden grid, to empower higher consciousness and those frequencies of consciousness that have the intellectual structure that we work through to create our reality and to do it with choice. And so it is. Bring your awareness back into your own self now. I'll call you back. Bring your awareness back into your own life, your own reality, particularly to those who have health problems, and those will wrap a field of energy around everyone who is undergoing physical alterations in their bodies, particularly Catherine and Mike and Joan, to help them complete their healing process, nurturing and supporting, empowering. We project this into their future healing, their future experience. Now back into your present moment, back into your soul center, looking out at the world, in charge of your reality, responsible for manifestation of that reality, and feeling wonderful. Okay, everyone, we're back. Are there any comments?
Magnificent as usual.
It's interesting. I feel an incredible flow. It just is continuing to flow through us. And that's our unified consciousness working. We're getting more powerful all the time, guys. Any comments?
I can't get back, Frank. So I'm still stuck back here.
Okay. How are things in Hawaii, Rich?
Pretty good. I think we're in between storms. We don't have any trade winds blowing right now, so it's really strange here. It's beautiful, but it's just kind of a different energy right now. I was lifting off the earthquake energy here while we were working, and there was quite a buildup here recently. But I think we got it lifted off.
Yeah, I noticed that, but it felt like it was okay. It was a natural thing that have to occur. All right. Does anyone else have a comment?
I do have a comment. This is Marilyn. I was experiencing through our meditation a slightly different way of. It was like healing the earth. We were going there, healing it. I felt like a mother too, soothing it, and just like you would a child. And then that energy actually transformed right then and there, and just. I guess you could say evaporated everywhere. A beautiful, warm, loving healing. It's awesome. Thank you, Frank, and everyone.
That's how it works. Joan, you always have some beautiful words for us. Well, if there's no more follow-up, we will let you go, Dave. Thank you so much for what you do for us.
Big thanks, Dave. We appreciate you and being here.